All right. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Midweek Push. It is the place where everyday living meets spiritual insight. I'm so glad that all of you are joining us for another Wednesday. Here we are, and there are 24 of us on, but we know that we can do a lot better than that. So let's tag somebody. Let's share it with someone. Today's going to be good. As I was preparing, I'm probably going to have to break this down into 2 weeks because there's so much meat and so much context around this, and I believe it's going to develop dialogue with us in the comments. But I want you to tag somebody. Tag someone who wants to remove toxic people. Tag someone who is toxic. Maybe they'll identify themselves. But good evening. Daria, good afternoon to you. Shania, good afternoon. Yusef, Makisha, Pastor Kathleen, Kim Moore, Tamara Green, my family right there. Good afternoon. Minister Javon, good afternoon to you. Overseer, Naya Ann Small, good afternoon to you, baby. Good afternoon. Jocelyn Pitts, good afternoon. Yvonne Burrows, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Sarah, good afternoon. Simone, Lady Roberts, good afternoon. Anna, good afternoon to you. Listen, I want you all to tag somebody right now. There's 24 of us on there, but I think we can double, if not triple that number if we all tag at least 5 people. And let them know it's time for the midweek push. Kimberly Neal, welcome. Kimberly says it's her first time logging on and looking forward. Come on, MWP family. Let's welcome Kimberly. Let's give her a big MWP welcome. EP Stephanie Guy is on with us. Joyce Washington, good afternoon to you. Daria, well, good. We're going to get you delivered today, hopefully, if you want to be delivered, because deliverance is a choice. All right, so tag somebody. Let's get right into it. I don't have a lot of preliminaries today and a lot of announcements. Just want to thank God for all of you. 30 of us are on Facebook and on YouTube. And if this is your first time joining the Midweek Push, welcome. My name is Pastor Cam. And this is the place where everyday living meets, meets spiritual insight, and the kingdom and the marketplace collide. We talk real life conversation here, but we never leave you stuck. We always give you tools, principles, and tactics to live a better life. Yes. So happy. Yes. Teresa, so glad to see you, Minister Teresa, who is on with us as well. Dawn, good afternoon. All right. Karen Mooring is on with us. Good afternoon, Karen. Thank you for tagging everyone. So today we're going to talk. We're going to talk about twofold. We're going to talk about how to identify toxic people and how to let them go, because I believe a lot of us can have already identified toxic traits in certain individuals, but the question is, how do we let them go? And so we're going to get right into it. Chris Moody, good afternoon. Tanya Bullock, my daughter, good afternoon to you. All right, so the first thing that we always do here is we affirm ourselves. I am a strong believer in decreeing and declaring. So Carly, in a minute, I want you to throw up the midweek declaration, but I believe in decreeing and declaring according to the book of Job, which says that we can decree a thing and cause it to be so. Tramel, so glad to see you on. And so I believe in that. And Grandma Roz, so glad to see you on. I was thinking about you the other day. I believe in that strongly, and the power of midweek push is understanding and embracing our ability to decree and declare. Brandon Michael Alexander, so glad to see you on. So this is something we do every Wednesday. We're here at 12 p.m. and we never start our conversations without a declaration. And this declaration is something the Lord specifically gave to me. Didn't come from Google, didn't come from Pinterest, but it specifically came to me through seeking God regarding this space that we call the midweek push. Yes, Overseer Powerhouse is in the room. Hope City is in the room as well. Our families are combining and coming together. I was telling Overseer, can't believe it, we are only 6 months away from wedding day. And so that is a true blessing. And so we're excited about that and the synergy and the connectivity of both ministries. All right, so Carly, let's go ahead and put that midweek declaration up. This is something that we say every week, and the power of saying this is not just in you reading it, but it's in you saying it out of your mouth. Wherever you are, if you're in a space where you can say it verbally, I want you to say it with me. 30 of us are on. Let's say it together on the count of 3 in concert. 1, 2, 3. I am a creative being, created by the creator of creativity. I possess the skills, tools, and resources to manifest every God-ordained purpose and assignment in my life. I flow in prophetic innovation that allows me to create what has not been seen and do what has not been done. Heaven comes into agreement with me, for all I put my mind to. Thank you, Lord, for backing me in all areas of my life. And if you said that, I want you, Shanae, don't start. It's glory all year. We can go right back there. That's still lingering from Sunday. But if you're in agreement, I want you to put in the comments right now, as we always say, let's work. Let's work. Let's work. Thank you, Carly. Let's work. Let's work. Let's work. Let's work. Let's work. Come on. I want to see it going up the timeline. I want to see it going up the timeline. I want to see let's work. If you're ready to get into our topic today, and this is such a heavy topic, I had several aha moments myself when I was looking at it and reading it. 39 of us are on right now. Let's keep that number rising. Tiana, I see you. Jocelyn, I see you. Joel, I see you. Let's work. Let's work. Tawanda, I see you. All right, let's work. Susan, I see you. Let's work. So this is important because one of the things that we have to realize with our life, I've said this before, is that our life is a brand. Jamaica, so glad to see you. Tamika, so glad to see you. Michelle, so glad to see you. I've said it before that our life operates very much like a brand. And one of the things that we must understand is that we are not just the sum total of our skills, our anointing, our calling, our assignment, our gifts, our talents, but in that sum total are also the individuals that we surround ourselves with. And not just those individuals, but the energy, the characteristics, the mindset, the attitude, the emotions that come with those individuals. And what we don't often realize is that much of what is showing up in our life is not just us, but it is the sum total of those we surround ourselves with. And so we can spend days, months, even years doing internal work, but at some point, we don't also assess the individuals who are in our life. We will become frustrated. We will become drained. We will become tired trying to figure out why we've done all this internal work, but things are still not changing. And that is often because the energy of those that are around us is seeping into our life, sometimes without us even realizing it. I'm talking good already. And so it's very important that we don't just spend these weeks and this year doing self-work and not looking at the circle of people who are around us. As a leader, as a pastor, as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, one thing that I understand is that the reflection of me is not just what I bring to the table, but it's those who I am connected to. And so that's very important. That's one thing that I share with my leaders and those who work in my company, in my business, is that you are not just a reflection of yourself, but you are also a reflection of me. And so what comes with us is not just our skills, our gifts, and our talents, but what also comes with us and is a reflection of us in the earth realm is those who we are connected to. And for those of us that have the syndrome of being what's the word I'm looking for? A rescuer, a fixer, where we take on people who have all of these issues and emotional imbalance and instability, and for some reason we're drawn to them, it becomes very hard to realize when that relationship has run its course and has gone from being helpful to being toxic. Hear that? When it has gone from being helpful to being toxic. And so this is what I want to help you with today, because I don't want you to do all of this soul work and this internal work, yet you don't see any tangible change in your life because you still have toxic people around you. I want to start really hard and I want to hit you with some meat. And the first thing that I want to say to you is toxic people thrive on drama. Toxic people drive on drama. It gets them sympathy and it gets them attention. And in most cases, individuals who are toxic are looking for attention, And it becomes a very juxtaposed place because we as believers know that we are here to help individuals, but there is a very big difference between help and enablement. And some of us are in the place where we are enabling toxic people rather than cutting the cord and realizing, watch this, that we are no longer assigned to help them. Man, 41 of us are on. Let's tag and share somebody. I know I'm talking very calm, but I'm saying something right here. One of the hardest things for us to do is realize when we are no longer assigned to help certain individuals. There are spaces and places in our life where we have to make a decision regardless of longevity, regardless of loyalty, regardless of what they've done for you, regardless of how long they've been there, regardless how many times they may have brought you groceries, they may have showed up at your door. We must realize that there comes a space and time and season, Anna says, flip the track, when we have to realize I am no longer able to help you. Not only am I not able, but I no longer have the capacity. God have mercy to help you. And so I've got so many notes here. Just things were just coming and flooding. And so we might have to break this down in two, but we're going to talk about several things today. We're going to talk about how to identify characteristics of a toxic person. And then we're going to talk about subconscious feelings that identify them, because there are a lot of people who have mastered the art of being toxic unaware. Man, that's good. Who have mastered the art of being toxic unaware. They're good at manipulation. They're good at making you think that I'm not really toxic. I'm just affected by the trauma in my life. There goes that word we talked about. And so a lot of times, toxic people, their traits are not right in your face. They're not right in your face. They're subconscious things that happens, because here is the thing. We are three parts. We are mind, we are soul, and we are body, and we are spirit, right? We are mind, we are soul / body, and we are spirit. And one of the things that our body does is our body gives us signals. And so even through emotional instability, toxic behavior, our body gives us subconscious signals that saying, hey, this is not good for you. So even I'm going fast, so I got to slow down. But even some of you who deal with constant stress or anxiety that comes out of nowhere, when you really take time to look at that, you'll identify that a lot of times it's the atmospheres you're going in. It's the people you're surrounding yourself with. It's what's coming into your ear gates and your eye gates. And you don't realize that your body is trying to give you alarms, bells, and whistles to let you know something toxic is in your life that you need to remove. If I'm saying anything to anybody, tell me something in these comments. Darius says you're teaching. Cece says I'm no longer able to help you. Yvonne says this is good. Tamika says I need to hear this. Carly says Pastor with clapping hands. All right. So let's go on. So why do we need to do this? Because learning how to name and identify these individuals in our life enables us, watch this, to protect ourselves from the underhanded consequences of bad behavior. Man, say that again, Pastor. Learning how to name and identify these individuals in our life enables us to protect ourselves from the underhanded consequences of their bad behavior. Because let me tell you something, for toxic people, there are always consequences, and some of the consequences are going to spill over into your life. You ever heard the term guilty by association? It is somewhat like that. Some of those consequences are going to spill over in your life because of that connection. It reminds me, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong, Linda Flood, so glad to see you. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it reminds me of when you put rotten fruit next to good fruit, right? Even though the good fruit doesn't have that bacteria or that mold on it, if you put it next to that rotten fruit long enough, that bacteria is going to then attach itself to the good fruit. Now, y'all tell me if I'm wrong, but I believe that is how it happens, and that is the same way that it happens. Thank you, Tawanda. Thank you, Daria. Thank you, Carissa. This is the same thing that happens in our life. Many times we are not the corrupted fruit, but because we've got that fruit near us, some of that toxic, some of that spoiled behavior, some of that bacteria shows up in our life. And now we've got to try to bring ourselves back to a healthy state based upon things that we didn't even directly do. Come on here. Come on here. Yes, Sarah. Sarah says one bad apple. Yes, 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 yes. Kimberly says you're talking real right. All right, all right. So let's keep on going. So what I want to do first, and I'm going to try not to rush this, so we may have to do 2 weeks. I may run over by like 5 or 10 minutes if you all are okay with that. 41 of us are on. You need to tag somebody right now. You need to share this with somebody and say alert. You need to tag somebody who you've been trying to tell them that person is not good for you. You need to tag somebody who is a takes on people as projects. You need to tag someone who is toxic. All right. All right. Tanya says, wow, this is confirmation of what I just dealt with. All right. So we're going to dig in this, and you have the ability to take screenshots or to take notes. And I want you to put in your mind that you're not just going to intake this. You're going to grasp it and you're going to do something about it. All right. Tony Banks says, my daughter needs prayer for her job situation, that toxic environment. Absolutely. All right. All right. And if you're tagging someone toxic, you don't even have to tell them that they're toxic. Just say, hey, you need to watch this. All right. Okay. So, Carly, let's go to that first screen. Let's go to that first screen, and we're going to talk about some behaviors of toxic people. We've got to first identify them. I think it's further down, Carly. We got to first identify them in order to be able, yes, the last 4 slides, Carly. Yep. So put that quote up for me first, okay? So here's what I want you to hear. This goes in step with what I just said to you. Vicky, I'm so glad to see you. All right. A person whose psyche is defined by the negative things in their life will only attract more negativity in yours. Let that sit with you for a minute. A person whose psyche is defined by the negative things in their life will only attract more negativity in yours. Flip the track. Rewind it back one more time for 44 people who are on right now. A person whose psyche is defined by the negative things in their life will only attract more negativity in yours. I dare to say that for the majority of us, a lot of the things that are showing up in our life are preventable if we look at the relationships in our life. Take a moment, take a sobering moment, and assess how many situations in your life would be better. How much better would your mindset be? How much better would your worrying be if you just took a moment to really do some housekeeping and remove some people from your life? I bet some of you right now are having light bulbs, aha moments, because you're realizing that a lot of the things that you're dealing with don't even really have to do directly with you. It is the result of people in your life whose psyche is defined by the negative things in their life. And because of that, it's attracting more negativity in yours. Whew. Let that just sit for a minute. Look at that. A person whose psyche is defined by the negative things. What does that mean? They're always the victim. Something is always wrong. It's always somebody against them. It's always this. It's always that. They lie. They're jealous. They're angry. They're bitter. They're dishonorable. They're disrespectful. They don't have any consistent relationships in their life. A person whose psyche is defined by the negative things in their life will only attract more negativity in yours. I'm coming back to me for a minute, Carly. I need you to hear that, because what I'm trying to get in your spirit today is that many of the things you are dealing with in life are a direct connection to the people you are connected to. Hear that. They are directly connected. Kimberly says, I want to throw the phone. They are directly connected to the people that you are, watch this, willingly connected to. Now, here's a rule that I have. Some people may not like it, but it keeps me at peace. Nobody in my life is exempt. I need you to tweet that, Facebook it, put it somewhere. Nobody in my life is exempt. What does that mean? That means if my mama is toxic, if my daddy is toxic, if my best friend is toxic, if my bishop is toxic, whoever it is, when I identify toxic characteristics in a person, I immediately disconnect. Because I realize that it's only, Candy, I'm glad to see you, it's only a matter of time before that toxic behavior creates negativity in my own life. And the hard part for many of us is the disconnection, but I'm going to help you through that. All right. I hope I'm saying something good today. I hope I'm saying something good. We're just laying foundation. We're about to get into it right now. Everybody take a deep breath. I don't have a snack today. I just got water, but hopefully you got your snack, and let's ride this wave for the next few minutes. All right, Carly, let's go to the next screen. Yes, Indira, I hope I'm saying your name right. Nobody in my life is exempt. Absolutely toxic will be disconnected from it. Absolutely. That's the rule I live by. All right. So I put them as buzzwords, and I'm going to go into them. I'm going to read all of them. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go through each one. And I need y'all, remember, as you're doing, this is not a monologue. This is a dialogue. Bree, I'm so glad to see you. This is a dialogue. So y'all keep it going in these comments. All right. 7 warning signs of toxic people. Okay. Projection, judgment, manipulation, jealousy, victimization. I'm sorry, there's an R in there, shouldn't be. Defensiveness, and a drama magnet. All right. Projection, judgment, manipulation, jealousy, victimization without the R, defensiveness, and a drama magnet. Let's start with projection first. Projection. And after each one, Carly, you can come to me. Projection. What does that mean? That means that rather than showing their own feelings, they act as though the feelings are yours, right? So instead of saying that they're angry, what they'll do is they'll try to make you the angry one. Okay, so someone who is angry but won't take responsibility for it may accuse you of being angry with them, right? So if they know that they have an issue with you, they'll text you and say, hey, is everything all right? You seem distant. Or, hey, is there something we need to talk about? When in actuality, it's really them that has the issue. It's another form of what we call gaslighting, making you question whether it's you that has the issue when all along it's them directly who has an issue with you. Oh, I'm talking good in here. So what they'll do is they'll project what they're feeling onto you so that they don't have to acknowledge that it's really them that felt that way. Come on here. Come on here. And so what that does is it causes you to go to a place of justifying. So you'll find yourself justifying and defending yourself. And then what happens is you end up in a cycle going round and round and round, because what the real, the actuality is it's not you that has the issue. It's the person. I need y'all to hear that. Because this is the spirit of toxicity that has seeped into many of our lives. Is we are in a place where, because we love the person, we're continually justifying ourselves and analyzing whether it's us that has the issue, when in actuality it's really the toxic person. So when they present their attitude to you and you react, what they do then is then project it back onto you. What's your problem? Why you have an attitude today? Why are you so upset today? And you're like, I'm not upset at all. But it's really them projecting how they feel onto you. But here's what you have to understand. Oh man. You don't have to justify or defend yourself or deal with misread accusations. I want to say that again. You don't have to justify or defend yourself against misread accusations. Charisma says, don't react. Right. Blessed Hand says, that's my people. Says, right, I'm not your issue. Michelle Jones is in there. She says, you're on point. All right, let's keep on talking. I see you, Overseer. I see you. All right, so projection. Projection is one of the first signs of a judgmental person. Now, here's the thing. They may have one or they may have all of these. They may have one or they may have all of these. Here is the second thing. Let's go back to that screen, Carly. Let's go back. Why are you moving so fast, Pastor? Because what I want to really get to is how to deal with it. All right. Judgment. Toxic people, make sure you know how they feel. They'll judge you and take a swipe at your self-esteem. And oftentimes they'll even suggest that you are less than because you made a mistake. So they're the ones that they're always going to point out everything you did wrong. And a lot of times it's because of a result of their own lack of self-esteem, always needing to feel like they are the one up, always needing to feel like they've got one up on you, right? So what they'll do is they'll always make sure that they point out every single thing you did wrong, right? They'll always make sure, why'd you do it like that? You know you shouldn't have did that. They'll make sure that they consistently point that out. All right. What are we talking about? 7 warning signs of toxic people. Trisha, I'm so glad to see you on. Miss you. All right. So judgment. They project their feelings. Okay. I'm sorry. Projection. Then judgment. They're always sure to point out whatever it is, and they're always taking a swipe at your self-esteem. They can never give you a compliment, but they're always quick to tell you when you did something wrong. And a lot of times what they'll do is they'll try to make you, they'll gaslight you again, try to make you think that you're crazy. So they'll present it in a way that comes like they're trying to help you. Well, I'm just trying to help you. I'm just trying to look out for you. But they never have a solution to help you do it better. Their comments strictly stay at judgment. Do y'all hear that? There's never a, hey, this is what I saw, but here's how you can do it better next time. Hey, I'm noticing that, for example, somebody may say, why you wear your hair like that? But they never give you a suggestion. Hey, maybe you should try this. Or, hey, your haircut is really jacked up. Like, why they cut your hair like that, right? And so they'll ask it in a way, and that's the other thing. They don't always do it. You can come back to me for a second, Carly. They don't always do it very sharp, but they'll do it in a backhanded way. You like your hair like that? You want them to do your hair like that? They'll say things like that. Reminds me, always saying I play around like that sometimes. But they'll do it that way. 52 of us are on. Let's keep sharing it. They'll do it in a backhanded way that makes you question yourself. So it never looks like they directly are taking a swipe at your self-esteem. And the way they get away with it is because they make it look like concern and care rather than what it really is, and that's judgment. Hear what I'm saying to you. Okay, so they're judgmental. They never miss an opportunity to take a swipe at your self-esteem. They never miss an opportunity. It's like they're going to always, you can have 15 people that say how amazing it is, but they're going to always be that one person that tells you what was wrong with it, right? They're going to always be that one person, and they'll do it in not always in a direct way. They'll do it in a way that they'll leave the seed and then walk away, and then now you have to spend 3 days questioning yourself. I'm talking about toxic people. Some of you right now, somebody's face is coming to mind. Somebody right now, somebody's name is coming to mind. And sometimes it's the people that we love the most. This is the hard part, and this is how they get away with it, because often some of the most toxic people in our life are the ones that are closest to us. Yes. Trisha says, Pastor, Trisha, Pastor, you're the best. I always learn something when you speak. Thank you, Trisha. I love you so much. All right. Kimberly says, facts. Oh, Makisha's choosing violence today. She says, that's why I'm divorced. Okay. Simone says, it's the people we love the most. It's the people we love the most, and so we tolerate it. How many of you can say there's some people in your life, let's be honest, there's some people in your life who, if it was anybody else, you would not tolerate it? There's some people in our lives who's like, the only reason I deal with this is because it's mama. The only reason I deal with it is because it's my sister. But guess what? This is the year where no one is exempt. Now, please, I need at least 10 of you to put that in a Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram post and tag me. This year, no one is exempt. Nobody is exempt. If it means that I got to safeguard my peace and be in a place where I know everyone in my circle is truly for me, then I don't care who you are. You have to go. Ebony, I love you. All right. Let's go back to that screen. All right. So what are we talking about? 7 warning signs of toxic people. Then we're going to go into how to actually get ourselves rid of them. All right. Jealousy. This is another form. Manipulation. Manipulation. Manipulation is a very, very, very big sign of toxic people, because toxic people have a way of sending out the vibe that you owe them something. They'll always remind you what they did for you. Always remind you how they were there for you, as if that's a reason for their behavior to be okay. They always have a way of taking from you or doing something that hurts you, then maintaining they were doing it all for you as well. Oh my goodness. Do y'all hear what I'm saying to you? Not only do they manipulate you by reminding you of what they did for you, but they also have a way of taking from you and doing something that hurts you, but then maintaining that they were doing it all the time to help you, to assist you. I only did that because I love you. I only told you that because I love you. I'm the friend that's going to tell you the truth. They say stuff like that. Manipulation. And then when you, and here's the other thing that toxic people do. I'm about to get mad. EP, are you on here? Please just tell me you're on here because I need to feel your strength for a minute. Come back to me, Stephanie. And the other thing that manipulative people do is whenever you have to address something that they did, they will always remind you of how they covered you. Anytime you have to tell them about their fault, tell them about their wrong, they will always make you remember that either you were in the same place, you did the same thing, I covered you when you did that. They'll always flip it on you as a way, watch this, to not take accountability for what they really did. That burns me up. It's another form of what we call deflection. That anytime you have to rebuke them, you have to chastise them, you got to correct them, you got to tell them about themselves, they always are quick to bring up what you did, what somebody else did. There is never any accountability, and it's a form of manipulation to guilt you out of telling them the truth. 55 of us are on. Let's keep on tagging and sharing. They'll manipulate you. They'll guilt you into not telling them the truth. So then what happens is you allow them to get away with behavior consistently because now you've got this seed in your head that they're always going to remind you of something you did, and you don't want to hear that. So what we'll do is we'll let them get away with that behavior. Pastor Dabney, am I talking all right on here? Minister Javon, am I doing okay? So what are we talking about? We've got to first identify the signs. All right, let's go back to that screen one more time. 50 of us are on right now for Midweek Push. It's the place where everyday living meets spiritual insight. Jealousy. So we've got projection, we've got judgment, we've got manipulation, then we've got jealousy. We've got jealousy. And one thing about the manipulator is that manipulators also heavily operate in jealousy. They heavily operate in jealousy, and they try to control the target in an unhealthy way. And so this one is tricky because a lot of times when people have boundaries, Ebony, I'm so glad to see you. I enjoyed praise and worship, Ebony. I was tuning in Sunday on my way to Hope City. You did an excellent job. This one is tricky because here's the thing that we have to understand. Not all boundaries are valid. If you're writing notes, write that down. Not all boundaries are valid. And toxic people will use boundaries as a means of control. They will play the victim when the boundaries are crossed or not respected. And they're never okay with you getting recognition. They're never okay with you getting recognition. There's a skit on Saturday Night Live where there was a lady who every time somebody would say something, she would always have to one-up it. Well, I did this. Well, I did that. This is what jealous people do. They've always got to make themselves a part of your celebration. They cannot stand for you to be praised and them not be included. They can't stand for you to accomplish something and them having not been a part of it. Right? And what they'll do is they'll use demeaning words. See, these are the parts that we don't recognize that happen. They'll use demeaning words like, oh yeah, I saw your little video. Oh yeah, I saw that little award you got. They'll use specific words. So you got to listen to the language of people. You got to listen to the language of people. Or the minute that you tell them about something that you did, they immediately flip it to something that happened in their life. Or they'll immediately find a negative in it. So you can say something like, I was awarded at my church on Sunday with the do-gooders award. And they'll say something like, oh yeah, but y'all still in COVID, right? Y'all don't have a lot of people there right now, right? See, that seemed very conversational, but it's an alarm in the means of having strong discernment to realize that what they are doing without you even realizing it is belittling your moment of appreciation. I need y'all to hear this because you've got some toxic people around you that you don't even realize are toxic because you've just been so used to it, and we use it as, oh, that's just how they are. That's just them. Yeah, they'll take a dig at it. Absolutely. Absolutely. So this is what we got to look at. This is what we got to look at. Projection, judgment, manipulation, jealousy. Y'all please forgive the R in victimization. Forgive me. All right. The next one is they are, oh man, I'm getting hot. They are always the victim. Toxic people won't see themselves as toxic. And if their actions come back to bite them, they are happy to shift the blame and paint themselves as the victim. Please tell me that y'all are hearing this. Toxic people don't see themselves as toxic. And if their actions come back to bite them, they are happy to shift the blame and paint themselves as the victim. It's always everybody else. It's always everybody else. It's always everyone against them. It's always that they're misunderstood. It's always that people took them wrong. It's always that nobody knows their story and nobody knows what happened and this is why they're this way. They always are the victim. Come back to me for a minute, Carly. And we got to talk about that because I believe that I said that in one of our talks before. I said in one of our midweek pushes before, I said that you are special, but your story is not. Now, what do you mean by that, Pastor? What I mean is that for all of us, we are not the first person to go through what we've gone through. And because we went through that does not make our behavior okay. So we've got to stop using what happened 10, 15, 20 years as a way to have mediocre, subpar, dishonorable, disrespectful behavior. Because when you know better, you do better. Now, I'm not talking to those who just honestly don't know and are truly in a dark place. But the majority of us are using our past trauma as a way to justify our dishonorable, disrespectful, and toxic behavior. I hope I'm saying something to somebody on here. I'm not just talking about just the people in your life. I'm talking about in us as well. So we've got to get to the place where we get out of this victim mentality that justifies how we are. Some of us are just toxic. Some of us are just dishonorable. Some of us are just disrespectful. And we've gotten away gotten away with it rather, for so long because nobody has been brave enough to tell us about ourselves. Hear what I'm saying to you. Hear what I'm saying to you. I feel the apostolic coming on me because I feel like it's some of us that are on here right now. So I got to come out of that. All right, let's go back to the screen, Carly, one more time. All right, so projection, judgment. I'm going to get to how to. I'm going to look at some subconscious feelings that toxic people bring to our lives. And hopefully we can get through some of it. Yeah, I feel it, Ebony, strong. So I got to come out of there because a hit dog will holler. And a lot of times it's the same one of us that are hollering and screaming that have some of these toxic traits in us. I can't stand. I'll tell you one time, and those of you who have been at Hope City know me, so you'll believe me. Those of you who were there will agree. But I can remember one time preaching, and there was individual or two who specifically were extremely toxic in my church. And I was talking about a message like this, and they were the main ones hollering and screaming. And I stopped and I said, no, and it's you. I'm preaching to you. So you're screaming about everybody else, but it's you. See, that's what we got to realize is that sometimes it's not everybody else. It's something that's also inside of us. So we've got to be willing to release ourselves of that. All right. So let's go back to that screen, Carly, real quick. So we've got projection, judgment, manipulation, jealousy, victimization, and then defensiveness. Defensiveness is another one. Anytime that you bring up anything contrary to what they like, how they feel, they're immediately defensive. They don't take criticism well. They're always ready. They're always on the defense. You may say something that wasn't even judgmental, wasn't even trying to come against them, but immediately they go on the defense. Okay? She said, oop, yes, provide that honest help. Help us identify what we can't see. I love that. Inside out doing the work. Absolutely. All right, defensive. And the last thing is they're a drama magnet. You ever seen people who they're just always in something is always wrong. Maybe it's me, but I don't have issues every week with people. I don't, and maybe because I'm very particular about my space, about who I allow in my ear, my gates. I don't sit on the phone with people talking. I don't do any of that. I focus on my work, my family, and those I love, and that's it. But I am just amazed, and pastoring has really showed me that. I'm just amazed at how many people have something wrong every week. Every week you're in an altercation. Every week you're dealing with an issue. Every week it's something else. And a lot of times it's a toxic character trait. It's a toxic character trait. So you've got to get to the place where you're not attracted to drama magnets. You're not attracted to people who always have something going on. Hear what I'm saying? Hear what I'm saying? How many of you know people like that? It's like every single week there is something. They're in it with this person. They got into it with this. Something is wrong at the job. Something's wrong here. Every single week. Victor Blackwell, so glad to see you on. Every single week is something. These are traits of toxic people. These are traits of toxic people. And I need to help you identify this, because for some of you, like I said, it's people you love the most. But go back to that first quote, Carly. Go back to that first quote that we said. A person whose psyche is defined by the negative things in their life will only attract more negativity in yours. And some of you, you're drained, you're exhausted, you're depleted, and you don't know why. And it's because of the toxic people that are in your life. It doesn't even have to do with things that are directly affecting you. A person whose psyche is defined by the negative things in their life will only attract more negativity in yours. Screenshot that, write it down, do whatever you need to do. Sorry, I jumped in there, Carly. All right? Okay, let's see how much time we've got. All right, so let's see if we can do this. So I love what Ebony says. Go back to Ebony real quick, Carly. Ebony says, I've been in that space before. So glad that I grew. So did my circle, and we now hold each other accountable. I know I've been a toxic factor a time or two. Let's clap it up, MWP family, for Ebony's transparency. Let's clap it up for her transparency. And many of us can agree. There comes a point in your life where you got to be like, I don't want to be on the phone talking about that every day. I don't want to be on the phone. You know, I can remember there was a time where after church service, there was a group of people that I would be around, and all they did afterwards was talk about everything that was wrong. Talk about what was wrong and what this person did and what they didn't like. And I had an aha moment one day, and I was like, this is not healthy. This is not healthy for me to be surrounded by this. So I immediately disconnected myself from it. And when I disconnected it, my energy was different, because here's the thing that happens. Oh, man. Okay. I feel the apostolic coming on me again. Here's what happens is when you surround yourself in those atmospheres, everything becomes questionable because your view is skewed. And this is the issue that many of our churches are having, is that oh man, okay. I have to do this quickly, and maybe we'll have to talk about it again. But there's so many conversations going on that everyone's view is skewed, and that's why the glory of God can't be manifested in the way that it's supposed to be. Because what toxic conversation and what toxic people do is they plant seeds in the mind of others, and before you know it, you're looking at people differently. You're looking at people in a judgmental way who God really assigned to be your help. But because you've got toxic people in your life who couldn't identify good help if it slapped them in the face, it's causing a skew in your life. It's causing negativity in your life. So you got to be very mindful, because toxic people have a way of making you turn your view of someone else into something that it's really not. Oh my God, please hear what I'm saying to you. It's turn your view. So now you've got an issue and a dislike for someone who you don't even really know to be that way, based upon what a toxic individual in your life has planted in your mind. It's like that aha moment when you come to your senses and you realize that the people who I've really been looking at negatively are really my help, and the one I've subscribed to is the one who really planted that negative seed. Because the other thing that toxic people want to do is they want to, thank you, Holy Ghost, I feel the Holy Ghost. They want to isolate you, and they want to control who you are around and who has influence in your life. So they'll guilt you, and they'll make you feel like anyone else that you get close to is a detriment to your friendship with them. Okay, man, I really want to dig in that, but I don't have time. I really don't have time. the control aspect of toxic people, because in essence, and at the foundation, a toxic person is often one who deals with severe low self-esteem. All right, y'all with me? 53 of us are on right now. You still got time to share it, tag, let somebody know Midweek Push is on. Cousin Carrie, so glad to see you on. All right. I really want to talk more about that, but I want to get into, yes, Overseer, don't rush me. I'll get to it when I get to it. No, I'm just kidding. Overseer said, how do we remove the toxic? She's trying to rush my lesson because she's an overseer, but nevertheless, I'm going to take my time. No, I'm just playing. Just playing. All right, let's go to the next slide. Let's go to the next slide. So much more. If we do another week of this, can I open it up a little more? Pastor Darrell Roberts, so glad to see you on. I may want to get into a little more of this next week. All right, subconscious signs. Subconscious signs. Subconscious signs. I love you, baby. I love you. Subconscious signs. Okay? All right. How do you know that you've got toxic people around you? You're not sure, but you feel like they may be toxic. You have to constantly save this person and fix their problems. There's just always something going on. They always need advice on some type of negative, nasty situation. You have to constantly save this person and fix their problems. You dread seeing them. You just get exhausted just at the thought, like, okay, like, let me just get myself together because I already know what it's going to be. I think I'm going to talk about narcissism, Tawanda, all next week, because that's a lesson in itself. You dread seeing them. You feel drained after being with them. You ever been around somebody and they literally just suck the life out of you, and you can't even really sometimes pinpoint why? It's just like, I don't know why. Talking to them literally just drains me. Like, I feel like I just can't do anything else for the rest of the day. Like, I need a moment just to recoup. All right. I'm talking to some of you because some of you got these people in your mind and you didn't even realize they were toxic. You didn't even realize it because some of them, it's your best friend. It's a family member. It's a coworker. It's a church member. Some of you, it's your best friend. Oops. Okay. So, constantly have to save them. You dread seeing them. You feel drained after being with them. You get angry, sad, or depressed when you are around them. Your mood changes and you're like, what? Like, I was just happy driving here. Like, I was just excited this morning and my whole mood has literally changed. And watch this. It doesn't necessarily even change because they did something to you. It's just the energy they bring with them. Like, just looking at them annoys you. like just hearing them talk annoys you. It changes your whole demeanor. Like, you're immediately, you ever been around people like you're just immediately irritated? You're like, I don't even know why, but just being around them, something about them just literally irritates me. It makes me angry. It makes me depressed. It drains me. Okay. These are toxic characteristics, because here's the thing. Sometimes when we enter into connections with people, toxic behavior doesn't show up right away in a blatant way. Sometimes, as I said, here's what we see here. Your body is giving you signs. Your body is giving you signals that, okay, this person has toxic traits, because our body senses and records energy. Okay. They cause you to gossip or be mean. Before you know it, you're talking about people yourself and you're like, what am I doing? Like, I like them. Right? Or you're immediately snappy with people, or you find that someone who you used to embrace, now you've got an issue with and you really don't even know why. The seeds that are planted. You feel you have to impress them. You always gotta, let them know what you've got going on and let them know how well you're doing. And this is the thing that happens with the whole social media evolution, is that a lot of times we're using social platforms to impress toxic people. So we've always got to post about how good we're doing and how successful we are and how God is going to restore us and how for everything we sow, God is going to bless us. And ultimately at the root of it, what we're doing is trying to let toxic people know that we're good. It's really not this facade that we create as we're being motivators or motivational. What we're really doing is sending subliminal messages to toxic people to identify that either we're good or that we don't necessarily need them in our life. Whatever it is, we use that platform. Yes, using social platforms, as Derry said, to impress toxic people. Okay, and the thing is, when we do that, we end up justifying it for them, but ruining our witness with other people. Like there's some people I can tell a toxic person, and I can tell, you can come back to me for a minute, Carly. I can tell one, either a toxic person or when a person is dealing with a toxic person by what they post or what they repost. Because the messaging is always in some way or another directed to mentioning the behavior of other people, or mentioning how to get over something, or what God's going to do to restore you. Like, we can very blatantly tell, okay, you are trying to justify yourself for toxic people. Anybody agree with me? All right, let's go back in. All right, I'm going to get to it next, Overseer. I promise, baby. It's coming up right now. You're affected by their drama or problems. You find yourself stressed about what's going on in their life. You find yourself angry about what's going on in their life. You find yourself drained by what's going on in their life, okay? And they ignore, They ignore your needs and don't hear no. They ignore your needs and don't hear no. They ignore your needs and don't hear no. Now, does that really need an explanation, or can we all just agree that we get that? Can we agree that we get that? Okay? I'm trying to help y'all because here's what's going to happen. You're going to do all of this internal soul work to make yourself better and be in the same place because you refuse to get rid of some of these toxic people. You refuse to get rid of some of these toxic people. I have been anointed to say goodbye. And the reason is because I spent several years not having a voice and being okay with having toxic people around me. But now it's like, and I think Maya Angelou said it, when people want to go, let them go. And some of you need to get to the place where you're okay releasing some of these negative, toxic people in your life. I don't care how long they've been there. I don't care how connected they are to you. I don't care what they've done for you. Your life is not going to change. I don't care how many books you read. I don't care if you sleep in a prayer shawl. I don't care if you do yoga, turning clockwise to the sun. I don't care what you do. Your life is not going to change until you get rid of some of these people, because their energy is what's showing up in your life. I need you to hear that. Yes, I'm anointed to say goodbye. I trust me. Elder Guy is on here. Overseers on here. People who know me. Like, I have no problem. Like, peace. Like, nobody in my life is exempt. Nobody. All right. So, how to let go of toxic people. Here we go. All right. Let's get into it. I may not get through all of this because I do want to stop at a certain time, and it's already 12:56. So maybe we'll get through half of them. Love you, Cousin Carrie. All right, how to let go of toxic people. Don't wait for an apology. Don't wait for an apology. Can I say that again? Somebody just say it in the comments with me. Stop waiting for an apology. Stop waiting for them to apologize. There's some people who are never going to apologize. There's some people who are never going to acknowledge that what they did was wrong, that they were nasty. Half of the time, they can't even see it themselves. Patrice. They can't even see it themselves. And some of you are sticking around waiting for an apology. But you've got to get to the place where your confidence is not bridged on the fact that someone is going to apologize to you. Yep, Tiana. Tiana said you probably won't get one anyways. Absolutely. Stop waiting for it. It's not going to happen. And their apology is not what justifies you. You've got to be confident in yourself to know that if you never say sorry, I know I was a good friend. I know I was loyal to you. I know I was a good person. Sometimes that has to be enough for you. There are some people in your life who are not capable of apologizing. And if that's what you're waiting for, you're going to live in that same bitter, angry space that they are in. The same bitter, angry space that they are in. Okay? Here's the other thing. Understand, y'all forgive me. I had to do these slides real quick. Don't judge me. I know how to spell, I promise, but y'all be all right. You get the point. Understand, it is okay to walk away. Understand that it is okay. I need a megaphone, man. Understand there's at least 4 of you on here right now who I know personally who need to hear what I just said. Understand it is okay to walk away. You've got to understand that regardless of how long they've been in your life, the truth is, EP, if I can steal it for a minute, that seasons change and seasons end. And regardless of what they've done for you, regardless of how long they've been there, their behavior is not a reason to keep them around. You know, I hear it all the time. Well, you know, we've been in each other's lives so long. We've done so much together. But guess what? They've been toxic the whole time. They've been toxic the whole time. And because somebody shows you glimpses of being normal doesn't make, well, I'm about to mess up. Because they show you glimpses of being a normal person does not mean that there is hope for them. Because oftentimes toxic people are chameleons. They know how to turn it on and off. You put yourself out there, overseer, so now I'm going to say it. Yes, you are one of the people I'm talking to. Overseer said to me today, she said, and I hope y'all love us. She said, are you going to use me as an example today? I said, no. I said, but if you put yourself out there in the comments, yes. You got to know it's okay to walk away. Like, thank you for what you did in this season, but you can no longer serve where I'm going. And overseer, you can use me and yours as well. We have a very open relationship because we want to help the people. Wait, not open, but you get what I mean. Yikes. We have a very transparent relationship to help the people of God. But you got to know it's okay to walk away. Like, thank you, and I appreciate what you did in those moments, but your mindset, your mentality no longer serves me, and I have the right to walk away. Like, I have the ability to give you your papers and say, thank you for your time. Thank you for your service. This is what I need some of you to hear, because some of you've been guilted into keeping toxic people. And it's draining the life out of you. You've been guilted into keeping people around who no longer serve you. And here's the thing. They've checked out a long time ago. They're just around for kicks and giggles at this point. They have no interest in being of service to you. And so you've got to get to the place where you step up and say, you know what? Yes, we walked this way for a long time together. Yes, we had some amazing moments, but we've just got to be honest that our paths are going 2 different ways, and I've got to go. Oh, EP, you choosing violence, and I wish we could really go in there. And it doesn't matter what they know about you. Absolutely. Pastor Moore said, yep, they've been checked out, but we feel like we still need them around. Absolutely, because we feel indebted to them. We feel indebted to them. And the thing is, sometimes we've dealt with toxic behavior so long that we think it's normal. So we'll look at the longevity rather than the quality of the connection. But when you start looking at it, you'll be like, yo, they were toxic from the beginning. Like Nicole, I don't mean to attack you today. They were toxic from the beginning. I just didn't recognize it. Watch this, because my standards were different then. But now that I know who I am, I'm having these flashbacks and I'm like, you were never good for me. You were never good for me. It's like an abusive relationship, you know, and this is not, I don't say this in a joking way for anyone who's been in one, but it's like, if I hit you upside your head 6 days a week and I hold you one day, that one day doesn't justify the other 6 days that you were knocking me upside my head. Like we got to address the fact, like, your behavior has been toxic. And one good day doesn't justify all of the other times that you were negative, you were nasty, you were disrespectful, you were dishonorable, you stabbed me in the back. Like, it doesn't justify all of that. So I've got to give you your walking papers and send you on your way and be okay with that. And I don't have to justify. Oh, I'm getting mad. Okay. And I don't have to justify to you over and over again why I'm walking away. Like, this is what it is. Like, I don't have to keep explaining to you. And I have to be okay. Here's the other part. I have to be okay with the narrative that you might tell other people as I walked away. Because here's the thing. Walking away from toxic people, they're going to always find a way to be a victim. They're not going to tell, I'm going way over. They're not going to tell everybody what they did. They're going to always find a way to make it feel like you abandoned them, like you left them, like you didn't appreciate them. But guess what? You got to get to the place where you realize people who really know you will know you. And anyone who chooses to subscribe to that story is someone who really doesn't know your heart. You know what? There's been several times where I've had to be okay with the story that people told about me. And I was glad that they told it because it showed me who really knew my heart and who was willing to subscribe to junk. And this is the thing. We're scared to let people go because of the story that they're going to tell people. But you ought to pray they do tell it so you can see who really knows you and who really has your heart. Victor said, Pastor, I work in the graveyard and I'm just about to jump in one of these graves. Victor, you are the MVP for today. I think that is the funniest comment I have heard on Midweek Push since we've been doing this. Please don't jump in there. Yo, that's hilarious. This is what you got to understand. Don't be afraid of the story they're going to tell. Tell your story. Because those who know me will know me. And the truth is, they're going to know you. Because you telling it's going to tell more about you than it does me. Whew. God have mercy. Go back to what Kathleen Kim Moore said. You keep returning for the same effects that are demoralizing your character, but you see it as being comfortable too. Yeah, let them tell the story. Because the people they're telling it to, you probably don't need them either. Be okay with walking away. I'm only going to get through about 2 more, y'all, because I can't do all of them today. We'll go back through. Focus on healthy relationships. That's very cut and dry. Focus on healthy relationships. Focus on people who uplift you, who build you. That's where your focus has to be. And Daria texts me, says she's in a funeral about to run. You got to focus on that. One of the most disheartening thing is that toxic people cause you to lose time with those who you really need. Hear that. Toxic people, 56 of us are on right now on Facebook and YouTube. Toxic people, and I'm going to give you opportunity to sow if this blessed you in a minute. Toxic people. Matter of fact, Carl, let's put the lower third up if you can, because I know some people probably have to get back to work as well. If you want to sow into today's word, by absolute all means, you can. $ Cam A Washington is where you can sow. Toxic people cause you to lose time with people that you really need, because you spend the majority of your time drained by having to deal with them. So you're spending your time having conversations about them, trying to figure out what you're going to do with them, being so drained you can't even do anything else. And you've got all of these people who you really need to be investing your time and energy in, but this toxic person is sucking and draining the life out of you. So what you've got to do in this season is you've got to make up time. Like, I don't have time to spend on the phone with you talking about that. I'm not having another meeting with you about that. Like, I've had to tell people, even as pastor, like, I'm not meeting with you about that anymore. Like, we're not talking about that anymore, because you know what you need to do. The issue is you want to talk about it. You don't want to change. You want to complain about it. You don't want to change. So you've got to know how to remove yourself and deal with healthy relationships. All right, let's keep on going. Let me see. Y'all want to do 2 more? Okay. Stop making excuses. Isn't it amazing how we make excuses for toxic people? Well, I just know what they've been through. I know they've gone through a lot. I know they don't have anybody else. So what? So what? There are some behaviors that there is no excuse for. And when you know better, you do better. And some of these people we're making excuses for, they know better. Oh, y'all don't hear me. They know better. And guess what? And they know who to be that way with. Y'all don't want to talk to me in here. They know who to be that way with. They know to be that way with you because they know you'll tolerate it. But I guarantee you, there's some people in their life who they don't even come at them that way because they already know. Okay, Keisha ain't dealing with that. Tyrone ain't even about me coming at him like that. But they know that you're gonna tolerate it. People only do what they know they can get away with. Hear that? People only do what they know they can get away with, and they'll try you. Can somebody testify with me that people will try you? Like, people will try you, and when they realize, okay, you know what? She let me do that. Okay. And before you know it, you've entered this toxic relationship unaware because you've entertained it. This is the season where you got to chop people at the knees the first time. Now, that's something you need to share. This is the season you got to chop people at the knees the first time. Like, there's not a fool me once, fool me twice. No, on the first time, I'm chopping you. Like, that's just how I am with people. Like, there is no, like, you're not going to get a second chance because you're going to know on the first time, don't ever come at me like that again. Like that, I'm not, when people come to me, well, they don't at all. And that's the truth, period. But if people have ever tried to come to me in a way that is dishonorable or disrespectful, like, you're going to know from the gate, like, don't ever do that. Like, ever. Like don't even think that you could ever try that again. Like, you got to chop people at the knees. We're letting people get away with too much under the umbrella of they've been through too much. Unacceptable. Like, anybody who's with me, just put in the comments, one and done. 56 of us are on one and done. You only gonna get one time, and be glad if you get through that whole one time intact. Y'all don't know that side of me because I am very pastoral in entrepreneurship, but Elder Stephanie Guy can tell you stories like, yeah, like, I have very low tolerance for dishonor, disrespect, and toxicity. Like I go from 1 to 100. Like, don't ever. And especially if it's about people I love. Like, no. Okay? All right. One and done. Look at everybody. One and done. Like, this is the year. Like, we're not letting people get over it because we're afraid of confrontation. We're afraid of what they're going to say. No, because it builds an unhealthy lifestyle. All right. We're only going to do one more. We'll do the rest next week. Let go of the fantasy. Let go of the fantasy. I'm going to say it again. Yes, I'm with Nicole. He's still working on me. You might make it. Might not make it. Let go of the fantasy. What do I mean? Stop believing that they're going to change. Stop believing, this probably does not sound pastoral, but I got to give it to y'all real. Like, stop believing that they're going to be different. Like, stop believing that there's good in them. Like, some people are just rotten. Like, some people are just nasty as hell. Like, period. Y'all judge me if you want. Like, some people are just toxic. Like, they're not going to change. I don't care if they show you a glimpse of being better, a glimpse of being helpful, a glimpse of being careful. Like, they are toxic, and you need to just acknowledge the fact that this is a toxic person. I don't care how well they sing, can speak in tongues, can sew, can knit, can crochet, can play backgammon. I don't care how good they are at whatever it is. You have got to get rid of the fantasy and realize, okay, this is a toxic person. Like, how many times do they, I'm yelling at y'all, I'm sorry. Like, how many times do they have to show you that they're toxic? Like how many more times do they have to show you this is who they are? Maya Angelou, we all know the saying, when people show you who they are, believe them the first time. Like, you only got to show me one time that that's in you. Like, you only got to show me one time that you're capable of that. There are at least 3 people right now who I know in my personal life who are very good friends, very close to me, who they had to only show me one time that that was in them. And I was like, okay, I'm good. I don't care how long we've been together. I don't play patty cake, whatever we did. You only got to show me one time that that's inside of you, and I'm good. Trisha said, man, it must be God who told me to download Facebook back on my phone. Oh my God, this is for me today. Thank you, Pastor. I'm so glad it's blessing you, Trisha. Nicole said, me too. Chris said, you're right. Grandma Ross said, yes. Like, once you show me that's your capacity, like, I'm good on you. And that's the conversation I have. Like, I don't have a problem telling you, like, okay, you know what? That is not cool with me. And there has to be some distance between us. Like, I'm not only gonna feel it, but you're gonna know that I'm feeling it. I'm telling you, y'all, I spent several years very afraid of confrontation, not having a voice, letting people do things that I wasn't comfortable with, treat me in ways I wasn't comfortable with. But when the Lord delivered me, He delivered me all the way. Like, He delivered me all the way. So I'm not talking as a person who was always this person. I'm talking about somebody who got delivered from being in that place where I accepted anything and have been able to walk in a place of freedom and peace. Like, I have very little to no drama in my life. If I wasn't a pastor, I probably wouldn't have any. Because there's just certain things that I refuse to tolerate. There are just certain things that I will not be a part of. And I can laugh and joke with you, but I'm going to tell you, like, don't do that. Like, ever. Like, ever in life. All right? Simone, I love you. Y'all, I got to go back and read the comments I think there's like dialogue and conversation going on. All right, next week we'll pick up. We've got, go back to that screen, Carly. Let me see. Here it is. I got it. We've got 1, 2, 3. Okay. We got 3, maybe 4 more. I'm going to add maybe a fourth one. We'll do 4 more next week of how to let go of them. If this helped you in any way, please let me know in the comments. Yes, Shania, delivered from accepting anything. Absolutely. Next week, we're going to talk about what the conversation looks like with them. Like how to have the actual conversation and how to not go back after you've made that decision that I'm good on you. We'll start there next week. How do I actually say this to them? What do I actually do? And how do I stick to it? Okay, we'll go through all of that next week. I hope this blessed you all. Yvonne says definitely good teaching. Carly says God still has me cutting people. This hurts because the recent cuts have been painful, but I need poison out of my life. Absolutely. I don't know if you saw on the screen, Carly, but one of the last ones, 58 of us are on right now, hanging strong. One of the last ones says, be okay with being heartbroken. I'm going to talk about that next week because here's the thing. We can't deny that we do love them. Let's just be honest. If you'll be honest with me, we can put it in there. Carly, can you put the Cash App back up? It's a $Cam A Washington. Somebody put it in the comments for me too. If this helped you and you want to sew into it, greatly appreciate it. Greatly appreciate your response to the word today. $Cam A Washington. You can sow a seed today. Let's be honest that we love some toxic people. Who can be honest and say, yes, Pastor, I'll be honest. Through this, I know that I love some toxic people. And it's going to be very hard for me to let them go. But I know that it's draining me. I know that it's not allowing me to reach my greatest potential. I know that I have to find a way to release them and be okay with it. Look at this. Cece says, so true. Joel says, I do. And he says, yes. Nicole says, love them. It's very hard. It's very hard. It's very, very hard. And sometimes we love toxic people more than we do the ones that are really good for us. Something about, it's like I talked about last night in Bible study, when Paul talks about in Romans, the 2 laws working in us, the law of sin and the law of good, right? Something about the flesh and something about our sin nature is literally drawn to toxicity. This is the truth. Brother Willie, so glad to see you on. Something about our flesh makes us want to help toxic people, makes us want to love toxic people, makes us want to embrace them, and we don't realize the detriments that it's having to our destiny. Ebony says, I know I do, and it's been hard to let them go, but very necessary. I immediately experienced growth when I did let them go. Look at that. And that's what I want you all to hear. This is not about isolating you. This is not about putting you on an island by yourself. This is getting you to a place where the work that you are doing internally is also reflected in the relationships that you have. And it's got to be a total package for you to see the true manifestation of the things that you've been praying for. There are, yes, Father, there are some things you're praying for, and I'm going to end here. There are some things that you're praying for. God is not going to release until you get rid of some of those people. There are some levels and some dimensions in your life that you want God to, God, take my business here. Take me here personally. Take me here spiritually. Elevate me here. Bless me with this. He's not going to do it because he knows that if he gives it to you now, it's going to be spoiled by toxic people that you're connected to. And you're going to be so drained by your connections that you're not going to be able to really appreciate what God did. Some of you got so many toxic people in your life, you can't even share with them how you're being blessed. Let me tell you this. If you've got people in your life who you have to think about whether you can tell them about how God is blessing you, those are not people you need. Because anyone who's in your life needs to be at the place where they can celebrate what God is doing for you. And there's some people God is like, I can't release that to you because the people you have connected to you are not the right people to support you in this next level. And what's going to happen is you're going to cause my blessing. Thank you, Holy Spirit. You're going to cause my blessing to become a curse because of who you're connected to. Do y'all hear what I'm saying to you? This is what the Father is saying prophetically, is that what I want to give you is a blessing. What I want to give you is mind-blowing, is earth-shattering. But that blessing is going to become a curse because you're connected to toxic people. So God is not going to sow a good seed in a field that's surrounded by rotten fruit. Because when God puts a seed in us, because he is a man that cannot lie, he can't let you make him a liar. Thank you, Father. God refuses to let you make him a liar. And if he blesses you with it now, and that seed becomes corrupted by the people you have around you, it's going to make him look like he lied. I need y'all to hear that. So this is more than just disconnecting from people. This is about you safeguarding what God wants to do in you. And if you don't know what to say to them, that's what you have to say. That's the reality of it, is where God is taking me and what I'm asking God to do in me, I have to safeguard it by all means necessary. And I know it hurts, but I'm reminded of the scripture that we talked about on Sunday. And here's where I end. For I reckon that the present suffering is not worthy to be compared to the glory that shall be revealed in you. When he wrote that, Paul was talking about the suffering of Christians for the sake of the name of Christ. But that word in Revelation comes to you is that, yes, this disconnection is going to hurt. Yes, it's going to be uncomfortable. Yes, you're going to have to go through some scrutiny. Yes, you're going to have to go through some retaliation. But it is nande kosha. But it is not worthy to be compared to the glory that shall be revealed in you. You're going to say things like, I wish I did that a long time ago. If I had known that this is what my life was going to evolve and become, I would have got rid of them a long time ago. How do we get rid of them? I pray that you enjoyed today. We'll finish next week. We'll pick up and we'll go through 4 more ways to rid ourselves of toxic people. If you want to sow today, I appreciate it. Some of your seeds are going off. Every single name of every person who sows, I always call your name out in prayer and add you to my prayer list. So please know that I will be doing that immediately after if you are sowing. Jeremy, a long time friend. So glad to see you on. Yvonne is sowing today. Trisha, I'm so glad this blessed you. I'm so glad it blessed you. I'm so glad it blessed you. I'm honored to be your pastor. Shania says cutting a particular person off was hard, but less drama. Yes. Here's the thing. Oh, man. Okay, I got to go. But 52 of us are on. I just want to say this. Here's the thing you also have to understand, because some of you, this word may become active in your life as soon as we get off. You may want to do it. Here's what I want to say to you. And this is a tactic that you have to know that can't wait until next week. Okay, listen very clearly. The Bible says very specifically to us that when an unclean spirit leaves out of a man, it goes seeking where else it can attach itself, where else it can live, right? Because here's the thing. Toxicity is a spirit, right? And a spirit can only be active if it has a vessel, if it has a body, right? Okay, so the spirit of depression can only be active if it has someone to be depressed in. The spirit of anxiety can only be anxious if it has someone to be anxious in. A spirit can only operate through a willing vessel, right? It needs a vessel. It needs a vessel, right? So that's why often a lot of times when we're fighting in spiritual warfare, I'm going somewhere else, but just stay with me for 2 more minutes. When we're fighting in spiritual warfare, we think we're fighting the person, but what we don't realize is we're fighting a spirit. So we can disconnect from the person, but that same spirit will find us. So what we have to pray for is we also have to pray not just for the spirit of disconnection, but to that our spirit be disconnected from toxicity. So that way it doesn't find us in the next relationship. Because a lot of times the reason that toxic people entered our life is because there was something in that spirit that attracted us. So if we cut off Johnny, but we don't deal with the spirit that Johnny possesses that we were attracted to, we're going to find another Johnny in Tyrone. We're going to find another Tyrone in Susie. We're going to find it somewhere else because it's more than just the person. It's a spirit. And so what we have to pray is, Lord, don't only allow me to be disconnected from the person, disconnect me from the spirit. Here is the other piece of that. Is the Bible says that when an unclean spirit leaves out of a person, right, not only does it go looking for somewhere else, but it's going to then, when it doesn't find somewhere else, it's going to come back 7 times stronger, right? So it's going to bring 7 times more fight with it. It's going to bring even sometimes 7 other spirits. So when you disconnect, you've got to fill that void with something else. Because for some of you, you have had that toxic person or that toxic thing in your life so long that when it removes, there's an open void. And if you don't fill that void with something spiritual and something positive, you're going to long for what you really don't want. Man, you're going to long for what you really don't want. Watch this, because even though it's negative, it's been so much a part of me, I don't know how to live without it. That's like addiction. That's like I know it's not good for me, but it's become so much a part of my psyche and so much a part of who I am that now my body is becoming triggered because I don't know how to deal with that. I don't know how to deal with not talking to them. I don't know, even though they talk nasty to me, I don't know what it is to not talk to them week after week. Right? So even if I know they're negative, I just want to hear their voice again, or I just want to be around them again, right? And so this is what happens with this spirit. And if you don't feel it, what's going to happen is they're going to try you again. I may preach it this Sunday again, I'm not sure, but I preached a message called Your Past Wants You Back. I preached a message called Your Past Wants You Back, and it's from that same exact scripture. And this is what's going to happen. So if you are making these decisions, if this midweek push did something for you and you feel the strength to make it, what I have to say to you is when you make that disconnection, you've got to fill it with something else. So you've got to find some individuals who you know can support you in that. You've got to be honest about it and say, you know what? There's a void now, and I know that it's only a matter of time before I'm going to want that again. Before I'm going to need that again, before I'm going to miss them, before I'm going to want to hear them, before I'm going to want to see them, before I'm going to want to talk to them. So I've got to fill that with something else. So when they come back around, that hole is no longer there. Okay? So I need you to hear that as you're making this decision. You've got to, I'm going to have to preach it again. I'm going to have to preach it again because it's the truth. It wants you back. It's not going to let you go freely. I hope you hear that. This is not going to be easy. I wouldn't dare get off of here and make you think this is going to be easy. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard. It's not going to let you go freely. It's going to guilt you into keeping it. And I'm saying it because I'm talking about that spirit and whatever that toxic spirit is. It's going to guilt you into it. It's going to make you long for it. It's going to make you feel bad. It's not going to be easy, but I decree and declare by the power of the living God that if you make a decision today that God is going to equip you and strengthen you, and he's going to align you with individuals who will support your new normal because you deserve better than this. I want you to hear that. You deserve, I don't care what mistakes you've made. I don't care what they know about you. I don't care what you've done to them. You deserve better than this. And God is going to give you the power to release them. God is going to give you the power to release them. and he's going to give you the strength, watch this, to even see them again and be okay with the fact that they are no longer a part of your life. I love you all with the love of the Lord. If you're not doing anything this Sunday, join us at Hope City Empowerment Church, 3525 I Street, Philadelphia, PA. I'll be preaching this Sunday. 3:30 p.m. is our Sunday service. We're going to pick up next week. Listen, if you haven't, somebody help me and put it in the comments. Text CWNOW to 21000. CWNOW to 21,000. You'll get alerts when we are live. And you'll be able to join us. Overseer Small and I are working on the on-demand platform where you'll be able to watch on-demand videos. Thank you, Carla. You're on it. On-demand videos of different teachings, health, wellness, prayer, fitness, spirituality, all of that. We'll be announcing that in the next couple weeks, all right? I love you all with the love of the Lord. And until next time, listen, remember what I said. You deserve better than this. God's going to give you the strength to release whatever is contrary to his will for your life. The Lord bless you.